that?
The left is attacking him.
The left is attacking Kanye.
Yeah.
Why? Well, in fairness, he's helping to make America great again.
No, make America great. There's no again.
Is there not?
Well, that's what Kanye wants it to be. He doesn't want it to be again. He wants it to be just make America great. He thinks that'll appeal to the black community a bit more. You have to watch the whole thing.
I must, yeah.
It's only 20 minutes, it's daft.
That's fucking mental, I'd say.
Brandon has not flinched.
He just doesn't stop smiling these days. We can't stop him talking. Just so excited about Los Angeles and all that sort of going on.
What he said.
We'll get this Q&A on the go.
I wish this lad, wish he'd calm down a bit and just not be so hyper all the time, Do you sneeze when you look at the sun? I always do. Am I the only one who does that, no?
Good question, Big.
Big, you can't be at that crack with the sauce.
What?
Holly Coster. We get another coffee before we start,
Alright, should we go to go?
We get through every one of these.
We'll
If we are, I don't think we should go into much detail. Like, we shouldn't rant or.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's like, if one person answers it well, move on.
Yeah.
Like, I won't jump in and say.
You won't be jumping anywhere, Brent. And you definitely won't be doing box jumps. I think if you did a box jump now, your limbs would just collapse.
The young fella last year, aren't you?
Oh, that got me going. You tried a young fella?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We'll talk about it after this. Come on.
Right.
Are you okay there? Like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I think so.
You're right there? You're good to go, so I guess.
Alright. Welcome to episode 3. So for
Claremorris to Los Angeles.
So for this episode, we're running with the Q&A. So we got a lot of questions from the stories that went up the last day. Before we start, Keane, would you like to give us a bit of an update on what you're currently doing, at what stage of prep you're at?
He wouldn't like to, but he will.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I am currently
On 8,000 steps there.
6 days. So I'm 6 days out from the UK show in Coventry, which is the British finals and the European finals amalgamated into one. So that's next Sunday. So I'm currently, I suppose today's the first day of peak week leading up to that show, which doesn't really mean much. It's just a normal week really. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How are you feeling?
But actually, I wasn't feeling too bad today until I sat out in the sun there. I feel fucking togging out, to be honest, after sitting out in the sun.
Sun takes it out of you, doesn't it?
It does.
Ah, yeah. But yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm getting there now.
Right. So we'll get started with this Q&A then. First question we got, I'll throw these up on the screen as well. What exercises should I prioritise for the off-season in GAA plus best way to work it over 3-4 sessions per week?
So basically he wants to know the best exercises and what sort of split he should be running. So upper lower?
If he's working out 3 times a week, do 3 full body sessions, be fine. With GEA program, it's no different to normal programming really. You're just looking for structural balance, and you want to stick to the building strength is great, and of course the best exercises for building strength are your compounds, so like your bench presses, your squats, maybe hex bar squats, hex bar deadlifts as well. Chin up, stuff like that, but you'll need to achieve structural balance, or you'll have to use some maybe a little more tedious or a little more boring exercises like split squats, step ups, and then I always do a ton of work on the glutes and hamstrings. You're just not going to have glutes and hamstrings too strong. It's possible, but it's definitely not likely. Just do loads of really, really good technique, really good work on glutes and hamstrings. most people haven't a clue how to train their glutes and hamstrings properly, not a clue, and that's why we have invested, well, I've invested in machines in our gym where you can work them properly to full range of motion, different angles, etc. The big mistake GAA players would make in training the lower body would be thinking that they should never use machines, and they seem to leave out certain exercises and use stuff like Swiss balls or sliders and stuff like that. Use a hamstring curl machine. Use
There's nothing wrong with the line.
nothing wrong with it at all. Look up Strengths and Psi or Polkin Group articles. Just Google Strengths and Psi hamstring or something like that. You'll find some very
Or
good.
these ones.
Yeah, Jesus, we won't go into that now.
No.
But Google that, maybe that'd be a good place to start, and you could read all about the hamstring, so working it through both functions when the knee's bent and when the knee's straight. Work on the glutes really well, and then move into your compounds. What exercises should you prioritize? You should prioritize a hip dominance exercise, something like an RDL, good morning, something like that, a glute ham raise. I definitely think you should put some sort of curl in it. Now, if you're doing a proper GHR, that's going to have a lot of the curl in it. But that's just too hard for most people who start never do GHR before.
No,
The first reps are ugly. They're not good at all. So do your hamstring curls, build them up that way. Glute ham falls. If you're training a basic gym, do glute ham falls. They're a great exercise still. Push your hips nice and far forward. Do glute ham falls. Nordic curls, I think you might be more familiar with. And then upper body, you want some form of pick one type of press. I wouldn't be doing 2 or 3 different types of bench presses. Most GA players who go to the gym end up with shoulders like this. It's just silly because they're doing too much pressing on their pecs and shoulders.
Could even say to prioritise maybe 2 pulls then, if that's the case.
2 pulls, yeah. One from down the way and one from vertical.
Horizontal.
Vertical. It really is that simple. What I would say is do your arm isolation work and fully stretch the bicep, because your shoulder is getting pulled forward into that posture. Stretching the bicep is awful important, so maybe some sort of incline curl with the elbows behind the body, fully stretch out the bicep under load. That's so important.
45 degree.
Some people are under the illusion that you don't use your calves, or calves is an isolation work, or biceps is isolation work. You don't need to use that if you're doing GA, but that's nonsense. You're gonna end up with bad posture and stuff like that if you don't sort that stuff out. If you're building a lot of muscle in the legs, you're going to end up with trouble in your knees if your calves are too weak. So to say that you don't need to exercise them is foolish. I would say actually have a look around your team. I'm going on long.
But actually it's a fucking very good answer.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
If you have a look around your team, have a look around your sports team. There's bound to be some of them who have knee trouble, right? So he's trouble with his knees, whether that's cruciate ligament, medial ligament, something like that, or whatever. I guarantee you he'll have bad ankle flexibility and weak calves. Guaranteed. But still, I won't work isolation calf exercises because it's an isolation exercise. It's so dumb. And another thing will be that they'll
just get onto this man and get a fucking
right. If you're doing isolation exercises, so a lot of GA strength and conditioning coaches, this is countrywide now, they'll put isolation glute exercises on the program. Oh yeah, band exercise, whatever. Isolation exercises for the rotator cuffs and the shoulders. And then isolation bicep exercises or calf exercises are suddenly evil. It's just makes no sense whatsoever. It's ridiculous. So don't fear isolation exercises. Obviously stick to your compounds and make sure you put plenty of work into ankle flexibility and good strong glutes and hamstrings. But I could make a video series on that question.
I think with a lot of GA programs, there's nothing special to them. It's like any program
Basics.
at all.
The basics of the basics, and you can't beat the basics, as Charles Polkin used to say. When in Gary Moore, all the young lads who come to me first, I just say, alright, get really good at chin-ups, dips and squats. And they say, what else should I do? There's loads of other things you can be doing, and you can do them with them, but your top priority is getting good at chin-ups, dips and squats. Good technique, good full range of motion, get really good at those 3 exercises. There you go, simple.
Well, I have 2 athletes, and there's no actual chin-ups or dips, but just a normal program, and they're having their best season so far ever, and it's just performing exercises correctly. And
I like chin-ups and dips, Dave, with GA players because there's this competition element very much with those exercises.
yeah,
Can you do dips? Are you any good at dips? Can you do chin-ups? Are you any good at chin-ups?
When training in a team environment, so they're training with each other. Yeah,
Exactly. It's perfect. It doesn't matter whether the guy is 70 kg or whether he's 90 kg. If he can do 10 chin-ups, he's strong. So if he's strong at 70 kg, if he can do 10 chin-ups at 70 kg, he's going to be strong for someone that size. If he can do 10 chin-ups at 90 kg, he's obviously going to be very strong for someone that size.
It's just strength, obviously relative to your body.
Yeah, relative, yeah.
alright. I think we've got a few questions on G anyway, so that'll probably cover.
Yeah.
That'll probably cover
Yeah.
those. What weight division is Keane competing at Worlds?
I'm competing in 2 categories at the Worlds. I'm doing the
men's
juniors.
bikini.
I'm doing the juniors, which is under 24s, and I'm also doing the bantamweight open men's, which is under 68 kg. So that's the weight division.
What's the bantamweight?
Under 68 kg.
That's... I've never heard of it described like that. So what's the story with that?
It's just like it's under 68 kg.
That's the only thing.
Just call it bantamweight instead of it's not lightweight is the next one. Middleweight, so forth and so forth.
I am 80 kg, I play GA. Is it possible to put on muscle and stay a similar weight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you're 80 kg now, and I'll ask you, oh, how lean are you? And you say, oh yeah, I'm fairly lean. You're not lean. You're not lean at all. You think you're lean. GA players think they're way leaner. This isn't, this isn't picking on anyone in particular. This is the lot of them. They think they're so much leaner than they actually are. Like Keane is 65 kg now, shredded. 64.9, and at 75 kg, when you were 75 before you started your prep, you would have been far leaner than 90% of GA players, and they would have said, oh, you've done about 10-15% body fat. They're completely way off the marker when it comes to how lean they are. So get leaner first would be my thing. Just get leaner, train your ass off properly, obviously, but get leaner.
I think he should take his focus away from the number.
Yeah.
Like it's not about 80 kg.
If you get a little bit stronger, weight does matter, but it's not everything. If you get a little bit stronger, but you're a really lean 75 or 76, you're way better than being 80. Way better. You're going to be faster. You're going to be fitter. Plus, weight shouldn't be the priority because you're either big or you're not. No matter how much weight training we do, we're not going to compete with Hayden O'Shea for kickouts. It's just it's just physics. Weight training will help you be stronger, a stronger version of yourself. But don't think that it's going to transform you into fucking Lee Keegan or Jeremy Connolly or whatever. But that's not to say it can't have a massive impact on the player you are already.
Is Trevor Collins in the running for next year's Olympia?
Yes.
Of course.
Of course, have you not seen the man?
Indeed.
Yeah. Trevor's doing very well at the moment. Shout out to you, Trevor.
He seems to be garnering a bit of attention, doesn't he?
He is, yeah.
He's a very lean bulker. For
Yeah.
someone who's I said that wrong. For someone who's bulking, he's very lean.
Yeah, he looks great. Looks very good. This is from Mr. Andrew Hayden. For all 3 of you, where are you happiest? And that's outside of gym/work.
Jeez, that's a fucking classic Andy question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where am I happiest? Cheesy as it sounds, I'd say with my girlfriend. At the minute, last few months, I'm definitely very, very happy when I'm with her. Apart from that, it will be when I'm with my family, having the conversations. And when we have conversations as a family, you would have witnessed this. It's normally like heated debate. It's normally heated debate where none of us agree with each other. But I'm a lot more present in the last 2 years in those type of situations than I used to be, and I enjoy it far more. Because you literally have someone who's like 3 weeks old to my dad and parents who are 50 or whatever.
Yeah. I think we can all say the same. It's generally you're happiest when you're with the people around you. Happiest when you're doing what you love, training in the gym, doing all those
But
things.
he said apart from them.
Apart from outside of gym and work.
Yeah.
Family.
People. People in your
What
life.
people know. What people do.
Well, I'm
know.
pretty happy when I'm at home on a Saturday evening, chilling out, watching a bit of Netflix with a pizza. I'm very happy when I'm doing that.
So you haven't been happy in a long time though.
No. But I am. That for me is like I'm happy. Obviously as well when I'm with my friends and family, but apart from that.
It's funny, I'm thinking there about happy, right? And I'm jumping to the gym straight away because I'm really happy these days while I'm training because I'm getting stronger, and so I feel really good while I'm training afterwards. But I know he said not to give that answer, so that's automatically where I'm jumping. So good question, Andy.
Yeah. Very good question, Andy. People. What are yours and Keen's opinions on steroids, and have you ever considered starting a cycle?
Dave, you go into that.
Opinion on steroids?
Take them if you want.
They work.
Yeah.
So they do the job if that's what you're looking for. My opinion is I think you're looking for, do I think negatively of them or positively about them? I don't take them. I don't think negatively of them at all. Whoever wants to use them can use them. Each their own. Have I ever considered taking a cycle? Yes. Came very, very close, but I didn't. Yeah. Keen?
Yeah, I'm similar. Like I no real opinion on them. If someone wants to use them, I have no issue with that whatsoever. I see the merit that they have in sports and bodybuilding. I just like Dave chose not to take them, and have I ever considered it? Of course I have.
Anyone who's in the gym who tells you different, it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Because if you're inside the gym walls, there's a point. I'm past that point, but there's a point where you're like, geez, no, like, fucking bit of gear, like that'll up the ante, that'll get things going a bit more.
What could I do?
But it's not actually drugs I have a problem with. It's the people who tend to use them.
Shortcut.
Yeah, it's
misuse of
there's
them.
so much. There's a lot of people like I know of who have taken performance enhancing drugs, and they just don't know what they're doing. They're not educated on what they're doing. All that's my problem. Where you're not educating yourself and checking are you healthy enough to do so in the first place. That's where my problem with steroids would come in. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Push pull legs or upper body leg split for the view of GA player. No, we've answered.
Yeah, I
Kev's
go.
answer.
I just quickly upper lower if you're training 2 uppers, 2 lowers a week. If you're training 3 times a week, go 3 full bodies. Like, unless you're an advanced lifter, you can make plenty of progress on full body split. Plenty of progress.
Yep.
People underestimate how much progress they can make on a full body split, don't they?
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with that. Next question. Cardio warm-ups. Good idea to get the blood going, or does it take from your strength later? It depends. Warm-up for what? If you're referencing the gym,
I would say in general, if you're doing a low intensity warm up
Jeez,
for 5 to 10 minutes, like on
That's
a
fine.
treadmill, that's not going to impact your
that's not
strength.
going to impact
If you're doing
I-
a fucking hit session, yeah.
I find for like now I'm fine. I can go into the gym and I'm feeling great. Do you know what I mean? Because like I'm in the middle of bulk and extra calories, great pumps. But like I found on prep, it was actually very good for like. Okay, I'm about to start training now.
Yeah.
It's getting things going. It's getting me in the mind. It's like that Pavlovian effect. Do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say 5 to 10 minutes, low intensity. It's definitely it's not a bad shout. Nothing negative will come from that, and I definitely recommend that for someone who has been sitting down all day. If you're moving about all day, your job is pretty physical, then I wouldn't see the need to do that. But sitting down all day, yeah, go for it. Me won prize. So how are you? That's Chris Watchthorne. Sorry, Chris. Prize already won. Shout Mark Mulligan.
Hey, look, though, it's worth a shout.
So we're good. I'm good.
Yeah, good.
He's been fucked.
Cheers,
That's
Chris.
about it.
Yeah, I'd like to see you again, Chris, sometime.
How to get through periods when the motivation to train is low and going to gym is not enjoyable.
How to get through periods, or
Suck it up.
Did you hear that question?
Yeah, I would say suck it up and just keep going, because motivation is fleeting. You're not going to be motivated 100% of the time, so you just have to just suck it up and just go with it, and eventually motivation will.
Well, do you know what I see what's wrong with this?
My view of, you can look at this question in a number of ways.
Yeah, I'm probably
right?
looking at it differently.
Yeah, there's no harm looking at things differently, but mine would be it's very much 80-20 in action. You have to accept that 10% of your train sessions are going to be shite. 10% of them are going to be brilliant, and the other 80% are probably going to be good in the middle. You just have to get into habits and get good enough advice that those 80% in the middle are always getting a little bit better and improving, so that your 80% is as good as it needs to be for you to make progress. And that way, if you set yourself up in that way, set yourself up with a plan that you can constantly make little bits of progress, motivation won't be a problem, motivation is bullshit, because there's plenty of motivated people who are dead on Mount Everest, You need a plan. It's a plan you need, not motivation. We're all dying to jump, run straight up the mountain, but you need a plan. That's what you need, an experienced plan.
Yeah, what I see wrong with this is you're saying the gym is not enjoyable, and gym's not enjoyable when you stop seeing progress, or you're not seeing progress at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that tells me you're not either training properly, you're not being consistent, and that's awful easy to happen, because if you just pick and choose the days where you want to go to the gym or you don't want to go, it's the easiest thing to tell yourself is, okay, I don't want to go to the gym today. That's the easiest option you have. If you're not feeling any way good, you can just say you're not going to go and stay home or stay wherever and just not go. So just in those situations, fight that urge to stay at home, if that's the case, and go to the gym and just start building that. Yeah. Just start building that pathway of saying no. Of saying no to the urge to stay at home, because that's half the battle. It's just getting up and going. Once you're there, it's fine.
Yeah, and sometimes, you don't feel like training, just go and do half a session. You don't have to train. Every session doesn't have to be balls to the wall intensity. Do you know what I mean? If you just go and just get a session done, maybe you don't progress in any of your lifts. You just stay the same on them, or maybe you might even do a few less sets than usual. So what? Give yourself an easier session for once. You might have the appetite for training hard again the day after.
Yeah, look, it's better than missing the session entirely.
There you go, yeah.
I'll just check. Is this still recording?
Stops after how many minutes?
I'm not sure, but it's still recording. It's not the countdown.
This is good.
Aoife Godfrey, question for Keane. What song podcast that gets him going to train when he's not feeling motivated?
Question.
There isn't this particular song or a particular podcast.
What about woke up to niggas talking like me?
No. No, I just I don't have anything really, to be honest. I just go and if I'm not feeling it, that's why I probably sounded a bit I answered to the last question. I just go and do it. I just get on with it. I don't have anything in particular that I listen to.
Relentless consistency.
Yeah, I mean there is no particular song or podcast. There's particular songs that I like to listen to, obviously, and podcasts that I listen to, but nothing in particular to get me motivated.
That's where I feel it's a bit unfair us giving that advice, because this is just what we do every day. For other people, they're still at that stage where they're trying. It's not as consistent.
Yeah, but it's no harm to asking what gets us going. I like knowing what motivates Ronaldo or what motivates Conor McGregor. Do you know what I mean? So it's no harm to ask the question. Not comparing Brennan to Conor McGregor and that one. Of course
not. This question is from Kevin Walsh. How can Keane eat potatoes and still be lean? I thought you had to give up the spuds to lose the belly.
Magic, really?
Just every one of these prep videos I watch, you're eating white potato, and I'm like, you have to give up the spuds to get lean.
Magic, really?
Right, go on. Next question.
Really want to do a bulk, but worried about gaining too much body fat. How do I overcome this mindset?
Just
and this,
don't
keep in
increase
mind,
your-
this is from a female.
Don't increase your calories too quickly.
Oh, it's from a female.
Yeah.
Well, that changes it entirely. So, to a male, I was about to say male, you're fucking probably not lean enough to, or you're probably not lean enough to go bulking. If it's for a female, so if she's probably underweight, so, and she's probably underweight if she's going into a bulk.
She's been hovering around maintenance for a bit of time after her.
Well, I think she
cut.
has to come to terms with the fact that if she's going into a calorie surplus and she's going into a bulk, that she's going to gain body fat. Now, the amount of body fat that you gain is going to be dependent on the surplus that you go into. So my advice, quite simply, would be don't go into too much of a surplus too quick.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
learn how to work the foods that you really like into that slight surplus.
Of course, because obviously the more you're enjoying your calories, the less you're going to deviate from the plan and overeat, which is going to cause you to gain more fat.
And take it slow. There's
Yeah.
there's no rush. Like there's only a certain point where calories can go, and then it's just overkill. You're doing yourself no favors. Then
You're getting
too
fit.
much body fat, you'll get fit.
Yeah.
When is the next D8 rodeo? Drew Murphy.
December?
Drew.
It's hard to get the gang together. We only go out about, what, 4 or 5 times a year? I went out once with you this year to Crystal Clear. Once in the whole year. The second time, the only other time I went out was Ibiza. So like, it's just, it's mad. So Drew's one of our mates, so we kind of like, 6 of us kind of meet up and go out once a year or twice a year, so. In case anyone's wondering what the rodeo is, that's what it is basically.
It's probably
When we
only
get together,
December.
so it's a serious novelty when we get together each
It
year.
is.
Yeah.
I miss you, Drew.
I miss Drew as well, yeah. I love a bit of the Drew.
We actually didn't answer that question, but we don't have an answer.
It's
December.
probably going to be like
It's probably
mid
December.
to like.
Yeah, if it's no sooner, it's December, 100%. Okay, we have Declan Clear. He's a few questions for us. Why doesn't Keane cut water for his bodybuilding shows?
He answered.
is-
He answered that in his story. Well,
This is a staged question. It's a fix.
he had it on his story yesterday.
Answer the fuck.
Not everyone who follows us
Well,
follows Declan Clear.
Basically,
That's the point.
you need water to transport carbs to the muscle in order to be able to get a pump. So that's why I don't cut water.
How tall does Keane out of 10?
Is he asking me that?
Yeah.
He knows well. He was talking to me yesterday. 10.
10.
He's absolutely fucked, he says.
When-
No one realises watching this how fucked he is. There's nothing to him.
Nothing.
Waste of time. I hate
When
the lately.
are Keane and Dave going to cut their hair properly? What the fuck do you mean? I won't be cutting my hair. What about you?
Yeah, I'm happy the way it is.
Are you all looking forward to how shredded Keane is going to look at the WNBF Worlds? The real prep has
I'm
started
looking
for
forward
Keane.
to everything about the Worlds. I'm looking forward to seeing Dick at the Worlds.
It's fucking this time next month. It's this day next
I
month.
know, it's been some year.
Yeah,
I can't wait to do a yearly recap. That'll be so epic.
Next, are we finished? Is that those? Yeah.
Yeah, Dick. You know the answers.
Dick,
to them
you're a
already.
prick.
I have
But
a
I love you as
question
well. Same time.
from Erica Overlong. Do you miss us? Who's she? Who's us?
Erica's your client, man.
That was a joke.
Oh.
fucking. Oh, I'm
Of course,
talking. I
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
got that.
yeah. I can only imagine Erica. Now, oh my god, you prick! Of course, I miss you, Erica. Hope you're keeping well. Next question: how important is a good diet?
Skip that. Seriously,
Joe.
how can you answer that?
Well, the first thing is
What is good?
you're gonna have to be a bit more vague and less specific than that. So, how can we answer that?
Go, fuck that.
A good diet for what?
Like, what is a good diet? I have a close. That might answer your question is a healthy diet. There's a video on that on our YouTube series already. What is a healthy diet? So
Yeah.
that'd be a good place to start.
It's a good diet.
It kind of covers calories, what healthy eating is, all that. So
Yeah.
have a look at that video. Don't be wrecking our fucking head. I know, I'm only messing. I love it. Who is that?
Look, just a bit more context to the question, be a bit more specific. Is there any significance to the timing of your meals, e.g. when to eat pre-workout and post-workout? Well, you eat pre-workout before your workout, and you post-workout after your workout. Do you have an answer to that?
I mean, on the pyramid on the hierarchy of importance, nutrient
Throw that up
timing.
on the screen now. Just throw that.
They're all going up on screen.
Yeah.
No, but
the
that pyramid.
Nutrient
Yeah,
timing
yeah,
is
yeah.
second from the top, just below supplements. So it's not very important when you're getting to the nuances of muscle building or fat loss, or say when you're getting to
Nuance,
the real.
lovely little word
The
there.
real extreme, yeah. So I was just saying, unless you're at the real extremes of
Nuances
Battery
was
diet.
used, wasn't it?
Battery
what,
diet.
Nuances, the word nuances was
Yep.
used.
then nutrient timing becomes a bit more important. But how important? Like 1%, 0.51%. So like for the general pop, most people who are watching this, that's not very important. If it's someone who's trying to, I'll just take myself as an example, place in a fucking bodybuilding show and come first or second, then that becomes important. Or if you're competing in a sport and between winning and losing, then nutrient timing, and specifically around performance, around training, it will be a bit more important. But I think most people don't be getting caught up in nutrient timing.
Yeah.
If you're getting caught up in nutrient timing, there's something, you're definitely not covering something else, which at the bottom of the pyramid, which you would have already seen, is
I made
calories
that.
is
I
most
made that
important.
mistake for years. Only eat, proteins, fats at this time. Only eat this before bed. Only eat this before training. Only eat this after training. I was as guilty of that for anyone for a long time, for 3-4 years. I'd say.
Yes,
It's not that important.
I think for hypertrophy, if you have all those bases covered and you're looking at nutrient timing,
Hypertrophy.
just try and get regular protein feedings throughout the day in all your meals. So let's say 3 to 4 meals a day, 3 to 4 servings of protein in those meals. But obviously, I have to get into protein target now. Hit whatever your protein target is, okay? Leave it there. Just if you're having 4 grams of fucking meat every meal, it's not worth a shite to you. So make sure they're good.
That's nothing to do with nutrient timing.
What?
Go on.
No, but I know what he's saying.
Yeah, I do.
Ever tried intermittent fasting, and if so, what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, well, here we have a long-haired Spaniard here who loves the topic of intermittent fasting.
Go on, Biggie.
Yeah, I tried intermittent fasting, but when I tried it originally, I don't do it for the reasons I do it now. I tried it before on my last prep, just because I liked bigger meals and I wanted to eat a lot of food towards the evening time, so I didn't eat throughout the day. Fast forward, reasons for intermittent fasting now are all for the potential health benefits of it, like autophagy, what do you pronounce that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Autophagy, yeah, it's like the regeneration of cells, reduced inflammation.
Give the digestive system a rest.
Helps
Yeah,
digestion,
it helps digestion. You're constantly just giving yourself a break from that constant of eating food all the time. Like that's not how we evolved, eating food all the time. So this is relatively new
I
to
think
us.
it can be very beneficial as well, because for someone who's looking to lose body fat, because it limits the window in which they're going to be eating their calories in. So by
they're less
default,
likely to overconsume.
Exactly. Now on the other end of the spectrum,
They can binge them if they
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the thing. You
So-
still have to set the calorie goal for
Yeah.
that day.
yeah. So look, if someone has a tendency to binge, intermittent fasting is
It's-
probably not a good idea for
Yeah,
them.
it's not a good or a bad idea. It depends how you use it. It's one of the tools you could use. Just use it properly.
Oh, of
and
course, yeah.
Use it when the time is relevant.
Yeah. It's nothing magic to intermittent fasting. Nothing magic at all. Next question, it's on intermittent fasting again. Do you have any advice?
Same person.
Do you have any advice for dieting? Thoughts on intermittent fasting? So that's 2 questions.
Advice for dieting.
Yeah.
You see, I'm
You
kind
have to be more
fasting.
vague with that as well. Advice for dieting.
Well,
Advice for dieting.
Advice for dieting.
I'm fasting, like, I wouldn't say it's not a specific protocol like 16-8, or I'm just fasting. I get up at just about 5:15 in the morning, and I don't eat my first meal until about 10:30, and that's basically just because my food is very low, that if I was to have breakfast that early in the morning, I'd be shooting myself in the foot with the amount of calories I'd be eating so early in the day, that I would just be struggling for the rest of the day. So I just prolong the period that I eat my first meal. So it is, in a way, it's a fast, because my last meal the night before is at 9:30, so whatever that is, 9:30 to, it's almost 12-hour fast, just over 13-hour fast. But that's just for my specific situation with dieting. So if your calories become very low, that could be a good option to withhold your first meal for as long as possible.
We've already kind of answered thoughts on intermittent fasting. Do you have any advice for dieting? It's a bit vague, but dieting, eat a lot of protein, get in a lot of
The stuff you've heard before.
cruciferous vegetables, all that kind of stuff, and do it daily, do it all the time, no days off it. Keen, how grams of creatine would you recommend taking daily? I've been taking 5 grams. Is that sufficient?
Yeah, 5 is plenty. Perfect.
Do you take creatine as well, do you?
Actually, haven't been taking it, no. I have taken it, but
I
I'm not
thought
taking
you were
it.
an actual man.
I thought this was a natty show. Best way to lose body fat percentage?
Getting a calorie deficit?
Is the only way to lose body fat percentage.
Is Keen almost a pioneer at this stage? How many times would you have drank in last year? Who was that? I can't remember.
I am a pioneer, I've never drank.
He's never
in
drank
my
in
life.
his life.
So, yeah, I'm definitely a pioneer.
Never drank in his life.
I haven't got the badge to prove it though.
Pretty insane.
What's the best way to keep yourself in shape while you're pregnant?
Ooh.
You can't answer that one from personal experience.
It's Caroline here, is she?
What's the best way to keep in shape while you're pregnant? Is the same way you keep in shape when you're not pregnant, just at less intensity. You know, you're not and that's provided you've already been training before you got pregnant. So if you've already been training before you got pregnant,
That's a good point.
just continue on what you were doing, gradually decrease the intensity and just do what you're able for, you
But
know.
you need to be careful in that first trimester. That first 12 weeks obviously very important. That you know for sure that the baby is safe and is still alive. And
Yeah,
then
absolutely. We're not doctors. Don't pretend to be them. Ask your doctor first. See what he says.
Yeah.
To take his advice first. But if he says continue exercise, which I know a lot of them do, from experience with my sisters, a lot of them, the doctors do tend to say, oh yeah, keep up exercise. Just if they do say keep up exercise, just do what you're already doing, just less intensity.
Don't attempt your 1 rep max on a deadlift.
Jesus.
Baby might be premature. How's the online training is working? I'm guessing you're asking how
does it work?
how does it work?
Kev, do you want to do that?
Oh, this is the first time I've seen him laughing. Go on. You missed your online fucking sensation here.
Well, no, it works. How does it work?
Yes.
You
pay per first of all.
that's the most important. No, you fill out like an initial consultation form, which is pretty in depth, and then from there you send that back, and your plan obviously is designed from there, and then from there is weekly, midweek check-ins via a check-in file, and then on Sunday there is a face-to-face Skype call or FaceTime call, just to check in and see how you're progressing, and adjustments are made accordingly to what you know. There mightn't be adjustments for 2 or 3 weeks if there doesn't need to be, or there could be adjustments every week or every. It depends, but that's kind of the general outline of how.
And it's been a nice surprise this year. I think everyone online is doing an absolute great job.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Jesus,
Like
everyone I have to say
I
everyone's
haven't
doing
put up any of
smashing.
them online or anything, like any progress that they're making, because I suppose they're still going.
You haven't put anything online ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's
you
probably.
just don't put anything up.
Yeah, I know, but it's going very well. To be honest, I would say that I'm pretty much like and this sounds fucking stupid, like yeah, because it's hard to give a quality service and check in with people and talk to them face to face, if you have any more than a certain number. So.
But you do have one spot left coming up in about a month.
Yeah.
To get at it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, jump on that last spot. I know, but with definitely online training, we do go for quality, not quantity. You know, so obviously I'm only training 2 people online at the minute. But we do spend time on them, like, you know, it's not just here, buy my 12-week online training plan or whatever, you know, you can do that anywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we mightn't put too much up about it, but we're doing it.
It's going good, yeah.
Will you ever come back playing soccer or Gaelic again? I think that's from Liam.
No. No, I won't have no interest, to be totally honest.
Liam who?
Liam Workin.
That's a good question for you, because I'm sure there's plenty probably interested in
There's
that.
plenty who probably want to just quit and go fucking at the gym full time. But
No, there's also plenty who are looking at you as like a good, very good soccer player and thinking, oh Jesus, I wonder will he go back playing after the bodybuilding,
no, I won't. No interest, to be honest.
If Jimmy Horn gave you the call up, would you basically ever seen probably?
Absolutely not. Not that they ever would.
Mourinho might sign you up if you like, will he?
Novice going intermediate lifter 5x5 throughout the week is switching to 5x3 in brackets heavier for some days beneficial.
No. Because you're going to make as much strength progress in 5x8 or 4x8 as you would on 5x3 if you're a beginner to intermediate.
Or novice change. Yeah, novice change.
So stay between 6 and 12 rep.
I'm assuming they're not a powerlifter.
Yeah,
Stay between the 6 and 12 rep bracket for reps, because you're going to make as much progress on your 1 rep max as a beginner with those reps as you would with lower reps. So there's no need to be going down to those extremes of low reps where all you're going to do is risk injury. Like your technique has to be so dialed in for those low reps.
Yeah.
So there's no need
It's a bit muscle, do they say?
It just says beneficial.
Like, unless it's pure raw strength they're looking for, but I mean,
But sure, they're not going to build any more pure raw strength on 5x3 than they would on 5x8, so it's pointless.
I'm
So
just
might
thinking
as
though,
well build a little
if they're a
bit of muscle
powerlifter
with it.
and they're doing like triples and stuff, and then
I doubt this person is a powerlifter.
yeah,
And
Well,
if
you
they,
never- you don't
and
know.
if they were a powerlifter, you shouldn't be asking us for a question.
we're not powerlifters. But yeah, no, that's answered in here pretty thoroughly there.
Yeah.
Is there a biological issue with trying to maintain a deficit all year round? It depends how fat you are, and depends how severe the deficit is, I'd say. But if I'd say yeah, there would be. If it's a good deficit, I'd say there's a problem trying to.
I don't see I don't see why someone would want a deficit year round.
Yeah.
Why would you want it year round? Would you not want a period where like you're off dieting and just like not eating what you want but eating more food?
Yeah,
More being relative.
There's also no improvement being made in your physique in terms of development when you're in
No,
deficit.
if it's in a year, you're hurting yourself and you're hurting your physique big time. You're actually going backwards.
Plus, if they're talking biologically, and like you could start getting into like your thyroid function is going to drop, your hormone, like your
Sex drive.
if you're in a calorie deficit and that's coming from being lower fat, your testosterone, is going to suffer. So there's definitely going to be hormonal implications. Your metabolic rate is going to change. So if it's over the course of a year, if your maintenance calories were 2,000 and you're in a deficit for a year, your maintenance could be dropped just down to 1,700. So that's going to have a big impact on you when you eventually come out of that deficit. So I definitely would be recommending staying in deficit for a year.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Psychologically as well.
If it's like.
But again, like you said, it depends on how. I mean, if it was a 200 or 300 calorie deficit, well, then that's probably you're going to be able to maintain that a bit more. But fat loss is definitely going to cease after a certain amount of time. You're not going to be able to stay in a 200 or 300 calorie deficit for a whole year and continue to get leaner or lose body fat. That deficit's going to have to increase.
Yeah, it does depend on the person. It depends if this person would have to be massively obese for fat loss to keep going.
Yeah.
If that was the case. But you'd probably die, man. What's a good training split to follow?
Next.
Next.
No.
Okay,
what's a
I'm
good
joking,
training
I'm
split?
joking.
Full body or upper lower, I can tell by the question.
You know who it is by the question. You know
It's
the type of person.
it's beginner. It's definitely a beginner. It's going to train and split. What type of split should you do? You can do full body or upper lower definitely for your first 3 years. I did full body or upper lower for my first 6-7 years lifting weights, I'd say. So.
Yes. If you're a beginner.
And I'm an absolute beast.
Don't split up your body parts.
Do you have any programs to suit a cyclist who wants to get faster, 3-hour races?
It definitely wouldn't be my specialty.
No.
No, mine either.
I don't have a program off the top of my head. Definitely not.
But A lot of the same strength principles
Yeah,
would apply.
strength endurance. Like.
Strength endurance would apply, yeah.
But I've never specifically worked with
Like
someone.
any, like, you know, I've read about this, you know, vaguely
Worked with
before.
people who, from doing just general structural balance and strength training, has
Yeah.
improved their output in cycling. You're
Yeah.
right, massive.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
So-
I've done that before, and he'd go on 3-4 hour cycles, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
He said the power in the pedals was just unreal. So just that's generally just doing proper weight training is going to help. It's the most malleable. What is it? It's malleable.
Yeah.
It's the most malleable form of exercise, weight training. It's going to like transfer into literally any other physical activity you do. So if you get good at weight training, basic weight training, basic strength exercises, it's going to transform into any sport, including cycling.
Yeah. This is from Beans Man. Do you believe in the podcast culture?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually heard Jordan Peterson talk about this the last day. He was saying like,
Technological revolution.
no, it was just a short clip. It was like how important their books, and he said he'd probably put podcasts up there with books in this modern day and age because they're having that much of an influence on people, and there's a huge benefit to podcasts is you can listen to them while you're actually doing something else where you can't when you're
Exactly.
reading. So like it's almost, when I'm cooking, it's almost like I'm meditating listening to a podcast. It's a great experience
Plus,
for me.
a lot of people
When I'm driving to Dublin, do you know, a lot of people can't read because they just fall asleep. Do you know, like
or they
I
physically can't read. Like.
I have some very clever, you know, people, very smart cookies, and they just tell me they can't read without falling asleep. You know, like they're very, you know, far smarter than me in terms of like their careers or whatever. They just can't read without falling asleep. So
Well, it's hard for
podcasts
people
would be
too
outstanding
because
to them.
most people's day are probably taken up by reading or work related, and when they come home or when they're driving in the car, the last thing they want to do, you know.
Or they associate reading negatively with their school years. I know a lot of people
That's
do
what
that.
happened to me. That's
Yeah.
what happened to me. I couldn't read for ages and ages. Now I
You were
absolutely.
traumatized by
I
it.
was traumatized by it. It just tortured me. I fucking hated opening books. Like it was just, again, another Pavlovian effect. I associated looking at a book with pain and wanting to get out of that situation. But now I actually love reading books.
What are the effects of overtraining and how bad can it be?
I actually think it's like whoever's asked that question.
It
I
doesn't
don't
apply.
I don't know who it is, but like there is a very 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 high chance that you're not overtraining and you won't ever overtrain. If anything, you're probably going to under recover. But like it's very very hard to overtrain. I don't even think I don't even think I've ever overtrained. Like I felt fucked and fatigued and stuff, but I don't think I've ever like overtrained. I think it's very very hard to achieve it. I think it's a bit of it's not a fallacy, but like it's very very hard to achieve overtraining. What would your thoughts be?
I think
I don't
you're,
think
I think you're the
anybody-
most qualified to tell us now to talk about overtraining.
Well, like I wouldn't. I try and manage my fatigue.
I think the
and
best
take
point.
days
The
off.
best point is that it's under recovery a lot of the time. So like I was training my ass off loads of times, and I wasn't making progress not because I was overtraining, it's just I wasn't eating and sleeping properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's generally the problem.
Is training 6 days a week on a push-pull leg split giving yourself enough time to recover considering nutrition is on point? Yeah.
Nutrition's on point. You'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that split in the past, it's worked very well. I would chime in though and quickly say that if muscle growth is what you're looking for, sometimes 1 day recovery I don't think is sufficient. So sometimes you might be better off doing push pull legs, but in in a 5 day split. So you could do push pull legs day off, push pull day off, and then repeat. So you'd be doing exactly. So you'd be doing only 1 leg session that week, and the following week you'd be doing 2. So that would be a little piece of advice.
That's what I'm doing currently for the first time ever, and I really like it. Feel better training.
I think that was the last question. I know there's actually a question from Kyle here. It was for Keane. It was basically saying on some of his last sets, he pictures like a family member about to get a gun to the head if he doesn't.
He was
complete the
listening to
reps.
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan says that on his podcast.
Yeah, and he was asking what gets you through those last sets, last few reps of those last
I could
sets.
talk about this.
I just have this intrinsic motivation to not be normal, and that kind of carries me through. I feel like if I give up here, that I'm just normal and I'm like everybody else, and I don't want to be like that. So that's kind of what goes through my mind. If like we'll say I'm coming close to like say the worlds now and stuff, obviously I'm thinking, okay, if I bitch out here, if I stop here, I'm not going to look, or I'm not going to go to the worlds and bring the best package that I possibly could. But like you have to remember, I approach my training like this when I'm not 4 weeks out from the worlds and I'm just in my off season. So it's that intrinsic kind of motivation just to not be normal, I suppose, just to be outstanding and to be special.
It's why some people look the way they do and why others look the way they do.
Yeah, it's a good question though, Kyle.
It is, yeah.
My first, one of my first mentors, Andres Wadden Raskowski, absolute header, fucking genius of a fucking coach. He got me as one of his exercises, one of his mental exercises, because that's mainly where he worked with me. Obviously loads of things training and nutrition wise, but the main thing he worked on was mental. But he got me to write down a list of 20 people who I absolutely hate and I have to prove wrong, and that is so valuable to me over the last 5 years. When I'm going through tough sets of squats, tough sets of exercises, prep, I picture these people who I fucking hate, and it gets me through, because you know, you're gonna, like, if you're thinking about people you love and people who are telling you you're great all the time, you know, if you can imagine it this way, the kid on the sports team and his parents are telling him he's great no matter what, he's the best, never tell him he's making any mistakes, he's the best, it's always the manager's fault, it's always the whatever fault. They're fucking useless. They never mature into proper athletes as adults, whether like the parent who pushes harder, like obviously not to the extremes, too much extreme either way is bad, but the parent who pushes harder, doesn't give praise as easily, is always a far more motivated, aggressive athlete. So if you do that with yourself, alright, you can, I count my blessings. I have a journal that I write in every night and every morning where I write down the positive things, the people who love or the people I'm grateful for. But when you're training and you need to absolutely go there with aggression and really fucking train your ass off, that's where you want to be thinking of people you hate, and I have no shortage of them.
Dave, do you want to answer that one as well? Sure, fuck it, you may as well.
It's funny, I've actually done that before. I know I've done that a few times where I've imagined someone I love, something bad happen to them if I don't complete what I have to complete.
I've never done that, but I find the people I hate, thinking of them while I'm training is fucking, it's gold. It's gold for me. Like a chip on your shoulder, people give out about, fucking, you shouldn't have, it's fucking gold. If you need to work hard, you need a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, but as you said, it's the same. Like if you're to bitch out, how you wouldn't look the way you look then. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real mental thing. It's a real, definitely for me. When I go into the gym, I have to train hard just for my own head. Because I can't be a bit, because that's, if I don't train hard, then that would fuck me. That would fuck my head up. Because that's where I don't know. It's kind of like, it's my thing.
It's where you're going to separate yourself from just an average person, isn't it really?
Yeah, it's my thing, and I can't bitch out. I have to.
I just on the average thing, that's something I've put loads and loads and loads of thoughts at, being average. I have no problem with being an average person. I know I'm not Ronaldo, I'm not Conor McGregor, right? I think the real specialness or the real greatness is in being an average person but doing extraordinary things, not being a special person. I think too many fucking people these days want to be this special person, this special gift from God, when they're not. None of us are anyway.
Yeah.
What you should aim to be is acknowledge you're a completely ordinary person. the majority of us are.
You're doing extraordinary things.
You're doing extraordinary things, whether that's traveling, whether that's your career, whether that's in the gym. Your work ethic is extraordinary. You're doing the 1% or the 5% of things that makes you great. So don't be putting pressure on yourself to be a special person. Try and just be the ordinary Joe like we are, and do extraordinary things. And trust me, an extraordinary gym session is an extraordinary thing.
What a way to end.
Yeah.
Nice and finish there.
Oh, but yeah, I could talk for ages on that. Cause it's something like, if you put too much pressure on yourself to be the special boy, like, you're gonna fucking drive yourself mental. Like, I've never wanted to be a special person. I've only wanted to do pretty cool things, you know.
Fuck, I wasn't recording.
What?
Oh, no, I'm joking, I was. I tried to
Alright.
Good stuff. That's us, so.
Yeah, that's the Q&A. That was a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next video will probably be show next week, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'll try and get some footage of it.
Excellent, I won't be there.
Because Jay won't be there, or Kev. But
Oh, do you use the Canon these days?
How do you use it?
Saturday morning.
It's here.
Do you use it at all, no?
It's here.
With you, like?
Well, yeah, but I'm not using it for anything.
Do you use it these days?
Not
No.
much, no.
How come? Just a little break now.
Well, we're using
No, not
we're
even.
using the Olympus for the quality of the videos.
Yeah,
We're using the
yeah.
lens. No,
We're
we
not
couldn't
doing
use.
any other videos, so that's why the
Yeah,
Olympus is getting used.
Because I'm going to Amsterdam this week. I want to make a vlog of that.
See, I was probably going to bring it for vlogging in the UK. Because, well, I don't know. I haven't thought about it. It's hard to vlog with that lens on. Like,
You're not going to his show?
No.
Are you not?
No,
I thought you were.
Brendan's going to be there.
Oh, Brendan's going to you.
But he's going over to Manchester first, and he's coming down to Coventry on Saturday.
I thought you were going, man. See, Brendan and QD are heading off to London for a weekend. So jealous. So jealous.
Alright. Is that so? Alright. Thanks for all the questions. Hope you got some use out of the answers. And
Don't be afraid to, or don't hesitate to send any of us any questions at any time. We're really happy with the response we got.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Interact a bit more,
Answering
perhaps.
these questions, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I need to do something on GA training.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, just find it hard not to get really angry and smash the camera. Be like Father Ted, and you know, that fucking, he was trying to write the song, he's smoking the fags. You know, play the fucking note!